So, with there just being a few days left to the 2025 year and movie season, I think it's time to rank every 2025 movie I have seen this year. So, just movies that came out in 2025 are going to be included onto this list. I've seen a lot of movies for the first time this year, but just six movies which I saw in theaters, ranked from number 6 to number 1 in that order. And to spice up the video a bit, I'm gonna add some transitional sounds, which is totally not stolen from another YouTuber, but who's way more popular as well. But let's get into the ranking, and let's start with number 6. So coming in hot to last place, never mind. Coming into last place, we have a Minecraft movie. Now, this film isn't actively bad. Like, none of these films on the list I would give like a low rating, probably because I selectively searched out which movies to watch in the theaters this year. But still, it isn't the best thing I've seen this year. For example, the movie has a plot, but it's more about the jokes and haha, this is Minecraft. But the movie isn't trying to take itself that seriously, and that's something I can respect about the movie. Also, the comedy and the memes are just all over the place, which is pretty funny, though. There was one sad bucket of popcorn flying during the chicken jockey scene during my screening of the movie. But it's just an enjoyable enough movie. And by the way, this is unscripted. I am helped by my Letterboxd reviews. The guy called Ben, because that would be too long. Thanks, Letterboxd. But otherwise unscripted, going in raw, coming in hot. Yes. But let's just move on to number 5, because it's just a solid overall movie, but not prestige. Expensive warning today. So this movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, one spot higher than the Minecraft movie, isn't bad, and it actually takes itself seriously, which is also kind of good for a movie to have. But still, I wouldn't say that it's amazing. Like, I would give it a 6.5. It's definitely better than Dominion, which at first I liked. Though this movie, I instantly had a feeling like, okay, that's about a 6. Then later bumped it up to like a 6.5 as I saw like, okay, it's pretty okay. Some major plot holes in the movie, or what the fuck are you doing moments in the movie, but still, those what the fuck are you doing moments, especially with the family, is like the Xavier character sometimes is just a bit too much for my liking, or his actions. They try to do some character building there. It's fine. And then you have a solid back to the island, stranded on an island plot. Back to the island. Ba-ba-da-bow. And there is some cringy dialogue at first on the boat. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a bad watch, like the character setup, but later it actually kind of works in my opinion. So it lands at about a 6.5 out of 10. And it's definitely a step in the right direction for the Jurassic World series. Can't wait for them to clock it all up again. Like, they had so much set up during Fallen Kingdom, and they clocked it all up in Dominion. And now every dinosaur is on the equator, so I hope they at least do something with that, which could be interesting. Like, yeah. But anyways, P5 for Jurassic World Rebirth. So in 4th place, just missing out on the top 3 positions, is the Chainsaw Man movie Resi-Arc. I myself, personally, am not that big of a fan of anime, or not that big of a fan. I haven't really watched anime. One of my friends, Lamia, she, by the way, makes the artwork for my avatars. she is definitely a big anime fan and watches a lot of anime, and especially Chainsaw Man. It's one of her favorites. So she forced me to watch this, or forced. She asked me to watch this, and we went to the movie for her birthday party. And I found both the show and the movie enjoyable, though the show is definitely different tonally from the movie. And that's not per se a flaw, but I kind of went in with the wrong mindset, and that might have deducted some points in my review. Uh, though it came back to the show's feeling in the last third of the film. But let's let Lamia hopefully have a talk about this film.
So I was asked to review the Chainsaw Man movie because I'm like a huge fan. So let's just get into it. Me and Ben actually watched this movie in the cinemas in 4D, which was an experience for me as someone who's read the manga. I already kind of know what's going to happen. So it was like really immersive, but for Ben, who doesn't really know what's going to happen, it was like maybe a bit distracting from the story, but it was like really fun nonetheless. It was like crazy. Um, and about the movie, so the movie follows our main character Denji. It starts off where the series left, and it follows Denji as he falls in love with this girl named Reze, a new character, and the movie basically like follows them falling in love, and just like their dynamic is mainly focused. The movie is just mainly focused on Denji and Reze's dynamic and their story. And I think it was just like great. It was like beautiful. It was emotional. It was everything like the Chainsaw Man is known for. Um, like it had like the tender, like personal, um, like way more fragile moments, but it also had like the insane fights, and it had like the comedic moments, and I think everything was just like spot on. Um, they changed actually this animation style for this movie, um, and the animation style will remain like this for the following seasons. There's some like really stupid drama behind it, which I'm not gonna get into. But basically, like season one had like a more cinematic animation style when the movie had like an animation style that's more similar to the manga and Fujimoto's drawing style. And I think that was a good choice because this animation style is way more dynamic, which really complements the story. And like aside from the style, the animation was just like insane. It was really good, and the soundtrack also like out of this world. Like Kensuke Ushio, like I said, like the tender, like emotional, more personal soundtrack, and then you have like this crazy, like epic soundtrack. It was great. Um, and the animation was also just like it was all out of this world. It was amazing. Like as a manga reader, this movie was better than I could have ever imagined. Like I knew it was going to be good, but there was like perfection and beyond. Um, and yeah, so I think the comedic moments really hit. I think you can just like also like tell that this was made with so much love and so much attention to detail. There were like a lot of like details that weren't even necessary, and they put it in, and it was just it was just like perfect. Like you've already heard everyone glazing this movie. It was just great. Like the voice acting also great. Everything about this was great. What can I say?
Thanks for that, Lamia. I hope you actually sent something in, because otherwise this is going to be very awkward. No hate on you if you didn't. Let's get down to number 3 and the podium positions.
Hey, Flash, I'd love you to meet my friend. Darling, I've forgotten your name.
Officer Judy Hobbs, CPD, how are you?
I am doing just
Fine?
as well as I can be. What
Hang in there.
can I do
Well, I was hoping you could run a play.
for you?
So, in the third spot of the year, I have Zootropolis 2, sequel to one, obviously, 10 years down the line, because Disney needed money, but the movie itself isn't even that bad. My audio might be bad, because my headset kinda broke, and then I found out I could fix it right after I cut the wire. So I had a mild crash out, and I kinda smashed it on the ground really hard. So you're just gonna have to do with me having my standard computer's audio. Sorry. But Zootropolis 2 is mildly better than the last movie we just talked about, in my opinion, because I clicked with it more than with Chainsaw Man. First of all, the trailers really deceived this movie. It looked pretty bad in terms of humor. They just showed that off, probably to get parents to buy it for their children. And there are no massive plot holes like I always expect with those kind of trailers. Though my biggest complaint, which is basically just nitpicking, is their balance between the cop story and the relationship story is just meh for me personally. They should have just chosen one to fix on more, and in my opinion, it would have been the cop story. Though, obviously, characters development and shit is important, but for this Disney franchise, I wasn't even planning on having that. So that's my major nitpick. And the movie also received some bonus points for Joe Swanson Mayer. And in my opinion, the best thing about this film is probably the geographical and historical building on the city. And I'm not sure what the city's called anymore, I forgot. I found it pretty interesting, though not too spectacular. And it's just an enjoyable watch, but don't expect to see any magnum opuses from Disney anymore in this time, especially not with the sequels. Sorry for your ears. Should have said that earlier, probably, but oh well, it happened. Second position is the F1 movie. Dad movie of the year. I believe other people said it as well, but it's just seeing F1 cars on a big screen as an F1 fan is pretty cool. And yeah, obviously there were some F1 nitpickings I got with this movie. And first of all, I had that as like my main basis for critique, and then I thought about it and I was like, does this really matter? It's just a fun movie. Characters are pretty good, not amazing. The only real moment where I cringe is when he says for combat. Though that's worked into the story pretty okay, with the entire team thinking, what the fuck is this guy doing at first? And then later they just accept it and say it as well. But you can really see the essence of what an F1 movie would be, which is a teammate rivalry. As you know, you can do rivals with other teams, but this is like the real rivals in F1 as well. It's your teammate. You always want to beat your teammate. So they perfectly captured it with some Hollywood magic, especially in the age department of the character. And yeah, stakes are way too high, but it's fun. I enjoyed myself through this movie, and that's all that matters.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
And in first spot of my 2025 movies is Liam Neeson in The Naked Gun 2025. It's not really a reboot, it's a reboot. No way. What? Anyways, it's not really a reboot. It's a continuation of the story with everybody just replacing their lost parent, as most actors sadly passed away, which is to be expected from their age during a movie series which was shot 35 years ago. But this is probably the closest that we'll be getting to a classic 80s, 90s spoof comedy movie for a long while. And it perfectly captures the style of the original film. It has a wacky plot which doesn't get the most attention on screen, because obviously it's the jokes that are the most important. Drabin being unknowing is also what makes most of the jokes very fun, and they make fun of every group of people, so that is always nice to have, not just picking on one group. For example, well, not for example, but one heavy joke was the joke where in the bar, I'm not sure what they said exactly, but it was something like, "You shot my brother in the back." And then Liam Neeson said it could be 90 people. He was white, so you're the brother. I did a really shit job like explaining, but you probably know which joke it is. But it's just a funny 1.5 hour watch. And yeah, it's my favorite movie of the year by quite a bit, actually. I would watch this again. Is it better than every earlier Naked Gun film? No, but I'd say it's better than Free, for Free's transphobic jokes. I'm getting way too far. Anyways, that's my list for every 2025 movie I have watched. Please leave your top 5 in the comments to compare. And there will be one more video this year or early next year about this year. And then we're gonna restart and just see what I'll get out next year. Hopefully about 4 to 5 videos, maybe some more. It would be nice. I'm obviously doing the F1 predictions reaction with Stefan, and we're probably gonna do some 2026 predictions. Maybe we'll do that in one long video, but yeah, that might be the first actual video next year, or I'll have a project underway. But thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave your list in the description once more, and I'll see you next year, or hopefully this year.